From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, former President Trump in more legal hot water, this time involving efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Good afternoon, I'm Elizabeth Cook. Trump announced in a social media post that he was informed he is the target of a criminal probe and that he was told to appear before a grand jury. It all comes as we are following a hearing in another case against Trump about potential mishandling of classified documents. Christian Benavides with the very latest.
Former President Donald Trump says he has received a letter informing him that he is a target of the Justice Department's investigation into efforts to undo the results of the 2020 presidential election. This comes the same day the first pre-trial conference is being held in connection with the federal case against him relating to his handling of classified documents. At issue is a 1980 law known as the Classified Information Procedures Act.
It's balancing national security concerns on the one hand and a defendant's due process concerns on the other hand.
The former president is facing 37 criminal counts, including the willful retention of national defense secrets in connection to documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate. He was defiant after pleading not guilty.
We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt.
The judge in the case, Eileen Cannon, issued an order last year granting Trump's request for a special master that was later overruled by a 3-judge appeals court. A big question mark is whether Judge Cannon, who was appointed by former President Trump, will rule for the prosecution or the defense about when the trial should begin.
The prosecution has said, we want to go to trial in December. We want to do this quickly. And the defense has said, let's postpone this indefinitely.
The former president is the current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination. He wants the trial delayed until after the election.
A spokesman for special counsel Jack Smith, who is leading the investigation, did not comment on Trump's claim he received a target letter. Developing now, an American soldier facing disciplinary action flees to North Korea. U.S. officials identified the soldier as Private Second Class Travis King. He had just been released from a South Korean prison where he was held on assault charges. King was on his way to the airport to be sent back to Fort Bliss in Texas, and somehow he got away from his military escort and ran off into North Korea while touring a border village. King is likely in North Korean custody, according to military officials. The U.S. is working with North Korean counterparts to resolve this border incident. Happening today, the Oakland City Council is set to give Mayor Sheng Tao a raise, but she says she may reject it. The city charter says the council is supposed to set the mayor's salary using a formula that takes into account the pay of chief executives of similar-sized cities. The mayor currently makes about $202,000 a year. Based on the formula, her salary should be at least $216,000 and as high as $278,000. Tao says if it's anything above the base, she will turn it down, saying in a statement, quote, "This year, given the significant financial challenges the city is facing, I urge the city council to set the mayor's salary at the lowest amount legally required by the city charter. As a leader, I know this is in the best interest of the city's fiscal health and is also the right thing to do." The Pleasanton City Council will vote on a plan today to raise water rates by 30% starting in November. That's about $33 every other month for the average single-family home. The council's vote would also approve rate increases in 2025 and 2026. The city says it is necessary to address water supply and quality concern issues. Other parts of the Bay Area have already seen a hike in water rates at the start of this month. East Bay mud water rates went up 8.5%. San Jose Municipal Water System rose water rates to 14%. And water rates in Marin County increased by 23%. All right, let's get over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Darren Peck. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm wondering, too, with the water rates, I mean, it's been, we had such a wet spring. I'm curious to know what the fall is going to look like.
Yeah, that's the question we'd all love to answer.
Yeah.
Best tool we'd have for a long-range forecast like that would be looking at El Nino, and that's showing positive signs that we're heading into a strong El Nino, which the odds would favor more rain than average. It's about as far as we're going with that conversation at this point. Let's take it one day at a time for now. We've got a wonderful cool down happening. Walnut Creek's a good example. It's 76 degrees right now. We're looking down on you from our camera on top of Mount Diablo, and you can see where 24 kind of snakes up towards the Caldecott Tunnel there. Let's show you where it's a little warmer. San Jose, if you're not in the mid-70s, you're right around 80, which is pretty much right around average for this time of year, and you're not going to go a whole lot higher than that. We'll just skip ahead to the afternoon and show you everybody's daytime high today. San Jose, officially for the airport, you'll probably go to 79. 86 in Livermore, 85 in Santa Rosa, and numbers will be in the mid-70s for much of the Bay Shore. Enjoy this, because there's a warm-up coming just in time for the end of this week, and as we head into the weekend, we'll look at that for all the microclimates coming up in a bit. For now, Liz, back to you.
All right, Darren, thanks so much. Now, working from home has the obvious perks, the savings in commute time and costs, and more control over your schedule. But it's easy to feel disconnected. Now, Itai Hodge shows us one San Francisco startup aims to solve that problem with something in between the office and the living room.
A marketer for a tech company in San Francisco, Catherine Britt knows firsthand the perks of working from home. For one thing, you can't beat the commute.
It is straight from bed to desk, and maybe I'll pass through the kitchen to eat on the way.
But even though she loves the flexibility,
Exactly, yep.
as a newcomer to the city, one thing she didn't anticipate was the loneliness.
I have great connections remotely with coworkers, but there's something different about actually talking to people.
She tried a few neighborhood coffee shops, but that turned out to be less than ideal.
When I'm in a Starbucks, I end up getting coffees and scones just to honestly feel like I can stay in that space.
That's when she stumbled on a new startup called Neon. Part co-working space, part friendship club. Here she can type away without any guilt while making connections with other young professionals.
I come here and I know I'm going to get work done, and then when I close my laptop, I can see, people that I love hanging out with.
Neon is one of several community building venues that have popped up around the city in response to remote working. Called third spaces, they're essentially physical locations other than work and home, with little or no admission fees. Neon charges $5 an hour for internet service or $25 for the whole day.
What can I get you to drink?
Teddy Kramer, the owner, used to oversee the expansion of WeWork in new markets. He says the idea was to create a place where people can work during the day while being able to meet like-minded individuals at night.
We're trying to get people out of their pajamas, getting them back into spaces that will make them not just productive, but feel more connected to themselves and their neighbors.
How are you? Good.
For Catherine, it was the best of all worlds. Not only is she meeting new people, her work has gotten better.
It's kind of like when you take a trip, you come back and you feel really refreshed.
Creating a third space as a first line of defense against loneliness.